Okay, everybody, let's take a look at this hedgehog. We want to have a really nice selection of it. We've talked about the first four tools, and most of them have been about selection, marquee, lasso, and then, of course, quick selection, object selection, white magic wand. We're going to use the object selection here. So as you see, I have it right here. I've already chosen it. Under the mode up top, I'm going to use the lasso. As you know, lasso is my favorite thing to use, and the best thing I think is. So I'm going to make a going to draw around it, really nice. Come back over here. It doesn't have to be too good, but I'm going to tell the computer, hey, don't look over here and look inside of what I'm drawing. So the more or the closer you can get it to the object, the better it will be. And of course, we're going to let that computer do its work. Okay. This one may take a little longer than normal due to the fact that it's such a very complex piece. Not too bad. We lost a little bit here because I definitely want the actual log. So I'm going to go back and touch it up a little bit with, and it seems to be straight lines. I'm going to go and use my polygon lasso tool. Of course, I'll be on the add, so I'm on the add part here. We're going to click one here, come straight across. Two, we got a third one right here. We're going to go all the way down here. Bring it up, double click, and now I've added it to it. And that's what we're looking for. So I've got my selection. I'm happy with it. There's nothing large that was left out like that log was. Now the next step I want to do is come up top here. You'll see our four squares. We talked about the new selection, add selection, subtract, overlap. We want to go to select and mask. So we want to click on select and mask, and we're going to see a whole bunch of new things happen. Okay. My tools have shortened down to about 7 tools, and I've got a whole bunch of other things called properties underneath here. What it usually defaults to is what we call the onion skin. I have a hard time with the onion skin because even if it's that transparency, say 50, it still looks a little, a little rough. I just like to put it with the red and the overlay because I can definitely see what's happening, okay? So I'm just going to go and do my thing with the overlay. Makes me much better. You could actually play with the opacity and make it darker if you want to, if that helps you out. But I usually leave it at about 50%, so it looks pretty good there. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to look at the second tool down, okay? The second tool down is the one that I want to focus on for today. It's called Refine Edges. So the Refine Edge brush is going to refine all these tough edges here on the side, where you can see a little bit of the green in the background. Maybe you've seen a little bit of black. It's just not perfect the way you want it. And that's what it does. It refines the edges. The computer, again, still makes the decision for you, but it's looking specifically at where you're going to paint with your brush rather than that large selection that we just did. The brush below it also, if you have some large pieces here, and I'm just going to go and do this one right here, what we want to do is if we want to subtract something, we want to make more, like subtract some of the mask. Notice I'm over here. I'm going to be looking at the log. I can paint on top of it and I can hide things. So say I didn't want the full log and I wanted to come here, I can so do something just like that. And of course, I'm blocking it out because anything that's in the red is going to go away. We're going to mask that out. Everything that actually has the same color, that's the thing that's going to stay. If I want to add some other stuff, or let's go ahead and take some of this, this log back and want to repeat that log, I can do Control Z or hit the plus sign. And we just come here and notice I can actually draw similar to this. Now I've kind of messed up because I got one out in the white here. I'm just going to go right back and just Control Z it. So we have the original thing, but I just wanted to show you the second brush, the third brush down of actually called the brush tool. Red, you're hiding something. If you see the actual photograph without any red on it, that means we're going to see it. So let's go back to the Refine Edge brush. As you can see up top above the hedgehog, I have a plus sign in it. That's what I want to do. I want to use the plus sign, okay? I'm adding some more red to it, especially around these points right here. Also, we're going to talk about making my brush bigger or smaller. There's 2 ways to do that. We can come here and click here, and of course make it larger. As you can see, it's gotten larger, or much larger. Or there's another way to do this. I can use the bracket keys. The bracket keys are next to the letter P. Bracket left, smaller. Bracket right, bigger. So we'll just leave it right about there. And that's what we need to do. And that's how we're going to do this. So I'm going to come here on the edge. I want a brush big enough where it's going to cover the actual red, the parts that I want to change and the actual picture itself of the hedgehog. So let's go brackets bigger a little bit more, and I just slowly hold and go around. And what's going to happen is you're going to see how it's refining the edges. It's doing a little thinking. Every once in a while, let go and let loose. Let the computer do its thinking. Don't do it in one fell swoop. Looks good. And you can totally see the difference around here for sure. Notice on this side, there's really no green showing. That there's green and dark on this side. So I'm going to go up near the top, do the same thing. And boom, it looks like it's doing pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with this. This one looks really nice over here. I don't think I need to do too much to this. And I'll leave it like such. Now, as you can see, some green up here above his head is showing. I'm going to hit it one more time and see what it does. Nothing's really changed, so I'm going to come up here, and this is where I'm going to use my paintbrush. Okay, let's go to the minus because we want to hide this up here. And I'm going to go over one more time with my refined brush and see if it does anything better. And it looks like it did just a really nice job. With that done, we're pretty much done. I kind of look it over. I can control plus it, get close to it if I want to, make sure everything looks good. And I'm pretty pleased holding that space bar down, moving it around. I'm pretty pleased with what I have. Perfection is not always the best thing. Oh, I see a little stuff down here. We're going to go and take care of this too. So let's do a minus. Let's come here and do a little, bring down my brush. Where are we? Here we go. I'm going to come here. Oh, I should just use my refined edge brush right here and see what I got going here. And it's doing its job. It's working. Okay. It looks like it's not going to do very well. So I'm going to, oh, I'm doing minus. That's why. There we go. Got it. Just had it backwards. That's all. I make mistakes. I'll be Bob Ross. I'm channeling my inner Bob Ross. Happy mistakes. Once this is done, I'm going to come over here to properties where we were up top where it says view. We're going to come all the way to the bottom and hit OK. What will happen is it goes to our original picture, and you're going to see the hedgehog that was around here is much more distinct, much more chaotic, if you want to call it that. It just looks crazier, but actually it's done really well. Here's how we finish off the piece, and this is where a lot of people forget to do it. Under your layers, you're going to see a square with a circle in it, a white square with a circle in it. That's the mask. It says add layer mask. I click it, and notice it's all masked out. I've got some bad spots up here and around here. I can go back and say select my mask, and I can go back in here and touch it up again if I need to. Okay, so that's how that works. And let's try this one more time. I definitely need this to be done again better. I was kind of disappointed in how that worked. This seems to be a little tough one, but you're looking at how to do it. Yeah, I guess I'm just making it worse, so I'm going to let these things go. I'm going to show you another way to do this. Now I have my mask. Now you're going to see it underneath my layers. You see that there's black. It's black and white right here. Hold the Alt button, and we can see where the flaws are over here. Two ways we can take care of this. I can actually have the picture on, and we can see the picture. Come back to my mask, make sure my mask is done, and I can use my paintbrush. My paintbrush, again, I'm going to use white and black. Black is going to hide things. White is going to actually reveal things. Let me show you this so you could really easily see this. Here it is under black, as you can see on the bottom, underneath my my magnifying glass here. You'll see black and white. Okay, so now it's black. I use my paintbrush, and notice it hides it. My mask has changed. You can see my paintbrush stroke. Let's go back here. Control Z that. Or I can use the white, and I can reveal things. So if I come and switch it down the bottom left-hand corner here, I use this little boomerang or the double arrow, the arrow that's going left and down. It switches them, and notice I can reveal my picture. Control Z that again. So I'm going to come here and hold the Alt button, and notice I've got some flaws up here. So let's go ahead and make my brush a little smaller. I'm going to make my hardness to 0. We haven't talked much about this. I'll go about this in class a little bit more. But I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. I want to make sure I'm painting black. And come here and touch some of these flaws up. This one's going to be a little tougher, and I'd have to get a little closer. So let's do a close-up. Use that space bar. Come in with my paintbrush. And go ahead and touch things up. And notice I can come in here. And this is just for minimal stuff, okay? Of course, you're not always going to be perfect. but I'm okay with doing this. Hold that space bar, move around. I'm looking at things very minutely. I don't expect you to do this all the time, but I'm doing this just for the presentation itself. But this is how we use our mask. Once I'm done, let's see what it's going to look like. I think that's enough. Oh yeah, here's the other big flaw. And again, if I'm hiding something, no one knows what's under the picture. So don't be afraid, okay? I just don't want to see any of the green. If I get rid of a prickle or two on the hedgehog, I'm so fine with that, okay? And I'll get a little white there. We're good. Let's go Control 0. A little spot up here. And sorry for being so long, guys, but this is just me just being Mr. Moran. Come back here. Let's touch this up really good. And notice I'm just doing this. Let's go a little smaller. My left bracket, come in here, really define that really good. Let's come in here and do something like this. Again, no one knows what I'm hiding. Bigger, there you go. Control 0, let's go back to my photograph, and it looks so much better. Again, I can come back over here, there's other places to go, but that's how you make your mask. Hope this helps. I know I went a little long on this one, but I think you're going to get this one, and this will help you out.